afternoon. I'm Tyler Danberg. For the first time since 2022, both Ohio State men's and women's basketball are going dancing. Jake Diebler's Buckeyes are in the 8th seed in the NCAA men's tournament. They'll face 9 seed TCU Thursday at 12:15. Kevin McGuff's Buckeyes will host the first 2 rounds of the NCAA women's tourney, opening with 14 seed Howard Saturday at 11:30. More from the hardwood. Thad Matta announced his retirement after 21 seasons, including 13 at Ohio State. Matta led the Buckeyes to 2 Final Fours and 337 wins, most in school history. In the NFL, per reports, the Jets are trading former Ohio State quarterback Justin Fields to the Chiefs for a 6th-round pick in the 2027 draft. Fields made 9 starts last year for the Jets, who traded for Raiders quarterback Geno Smith 5 days ago. This update sponsored by BMI Federal Credit Union, but the best credit union for the past 8 years in a row by CBUS Top Picks. Visit BMIFCU.org to learn more. Breaking sports news when it happens on The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
It's time to add some spice to your nooner. Nooner Funny. This is the place where big-time guests, bold opinions, and little cute doggies come together. This is Rothman and Ice.
Sponsored by Pella Columbus, the #1 rated windows and doors in Columbus.
All right, here we go. Big week, Rothman and Ice. We stuff a 3-hour show into a 2-hour wet paper bag today. Anthony Rothman and my man Joshua Perry in today.
How we doing?
Where's our applause special effect?
Oh, my gosh.
I know.
Cole doesn't care about me anymore.
Exactly. Well, he figures that you don't need it, so that's a compliment as well. Good to see you, my man.
Always good. Glad to be back.
Yes, reconvening. You and I worked together in football season. We've traveled together.
Yes.
We've done some good games together. We've had some high times, low times, fun airplane trips, all that good stuff.
Real interesting airplane trips.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna lift the curtain for a quick second. You and I did, I believe, went out to Cali, did the Urban's last game, right?
Yes, it was.
Okay, Urban's last game, the Rose Bowl game. Washington, was that game?
That was.
Or am I,
was that? That was Washington.
That Washington?
Yeah.
Or yeah, it's all a blur now. Anyway, so we stayed downtown LA. There's a press conference there at the hotel, and with your help, and because I don't think I would have been able to pull this off, we did our show right outside the media center where Urban was doing his press conference, and then he did the little drive-by for us and stopped by, and we had him on the air. And, I do believe that we talked to him for like 10 minutes, and I'm not even sure it aired. Did I ever tell you that?
I feel like you've alluded to it one time, but I never got the full story.
I feel like we were trying to plug into the Ethernet there at the hotel because we were either on cell or whatever, and I never really said anything, and I never really went back to check because as you're doing those things, you figure, hey, you got to act as if it's live.
Right.
And I think we did it. We never told him, which was great. I don't even know if anything ever came out of that, but yeah, that was fun.
That was supposed to be my big break as a young broadcaster, getting the head coach right before his last game.
That's right. We have pictures. We have still pictures of it, though.
We do.
So there is evidence. All right, so we survived the windy nightmare on Friday. Did you get caught up in that?
I avoided it for the most part. My neighbor, she got patio furniture on her front porch. Couch blew off, and then she's got a fence in the back, so the fence caught it. I think her couch is still sitting out there as we speak. But yeah, I mean, that was insane. Yeah. What was going on?
Insanity. So I was driving. So we got lucky. We were on the Rothman and Ice Survive and Sabbatical Tour because Ohio State won for us. So it knocked us off the air, and then we were off on Friday as well. And I'm driving north on Friday on 71, and then we got rerouted off 71 because there were literally semi-trucks flipped on their sides. I saw 3 or 4 semi-trucks just flipped on their sides. And so it shut down 71, and then they detoured us off, and I was on 23. And I've never been more scared behind the wheel. And I've driven fast a lot of times in my life on tracks and this and that.
Sure.
So, Joshua, I'm on this road where it's like just a 2-laner. We're going this way, cars are coming this way. And there's a dust storm coming across this open field. And I thought it's one of those where you're just going to drive right through it, kind of like Cole Trickle, like just drive right through it, just trust it. Mm-hmm. And I get into this thing, and it's like getting caught up in a dust storm, like a Mission Impossible scene. And I'm in there, and now I'm not driving right through it, and I see I can't see a thing in front of me. I literally cannot see 1 inch in front of the vehicle, and I stopped. I was going to try to pull over, but I couldn't even see to pull over because I'm in this dust tornado.
Right.
And The good news is there was nobody behind me or I would have been smacked.
Yeah.
And nobody did what I did, which is stop in the middle of the road.
Right.
So I didn't hit anybody. And it was the most scared I've ever been behind the wheel of a car.
It's total insanity. And I'll drive in conditions, whatever the case is. The one that gets me is wind. And especially when you mix it with other things, when you have snow and you get the blowing snow, it's one of the things I hate the most. A dust storm, I wouldn't have known what to do.
Yeah.
And then you mentioned the semi truck. So I'm leaving a gas station and I'm at a red light. And there is a truck that is getting ready to turn right where I am. And it's one of those U-Haul like flatbed deals that has the little portable containers where people can fill their stuff on it. And I'm like, I hope to God there's not just a great gust of wind as this truck is turning, because I'm cooked that's the case. It scares the hell out of me.
Yeah. It was one of those things that I've seen like semis jackknife, but never flipped on their side like they're nothing.
Yeah.
It was a scene out of a movie. I hope I haven't checked, but I hope everyone's okay. Friday was a disaster. And I think people don't think you really give it enough respect, right? You're driving, it's Friday, it's the weekend, it's nice out, and you got 70, 80 mile an hour winds and people are driving. And if you're not like 10-2 and gripping that thing and you get a quick gust, it's crazy. I've never seen that before where semis were just flipped on their sides. We got a good week coming up because we got the hype that we wanted. This is something that you and I talked about, something that a lot of people talked about here at the Fan, about Ohio State making the dance and how that would feel. Of course it feels great. They haven't played yet. It feels awesome. They beat Iowa in a big game. They almost beat Michigan. This team has kind of found itself. The roster's pretty healthy. They got Noel back. And like I look at them as Jake came on our program when TLC on Tuesday. I think it was Tuesday.
I think so.
And he talked about being a tough out. And he said something and our eyes just lit up. And he said something like, now this could be just for his own good. But he said, I think we're playing like the best basketball in the country.
Do you want to hear it?
Yes.
All right.
This is the tough out one?
Yep.
All right.
There's no question. I think we're playing some of the best basketball of anybody in the country, and we're showing what, we're capable of when we got everybody out there. So we got guys who can score on the perimeter. We're defending that, really well right now. We got 5 or 6 guys who are capable of scoring double figures on any given night, and that makes us a tough guard. So we got to continue to share the ball. We got to continue to rebound better. That's been important for us down the stretch, and we do that. I think we can beat and play with anybody.
Now, that was before the Iowa game.
Right.
That's where his confidence was. I think he truly believed it. I don't think that was just coach speak. I don't think that was lighting a fire under his team. His team had played pretty well since they got trashed at Iowa. They beat Purdue, which gave them all the confidence in the world because Purdue had an 8 in front of their name when they beat them, and they beat them pretty good. And now they've played their way in. Now they're an 8, which we had the discussion before would have been better if they were a 10 or a 7 and get in that game and avoid the 1 in the second round. But I don't think that's what this is about. I think this is about a step forward for this program. I think this is about momentum. Now, that momentum gets halted pretty fast if you lose to TCU.
That's the question there.
Yeah.
Right.
And so this week of hype is great. It's great momentum. You want to be inside and not on the outside looking in. So now it comes to expectations and what this can do for the program. But aren't you in the camp of it's better to be in than not?
Yeah. I think that's what everybody wants. At this point, you just don't know, right? We're talking about does the momentum halt? Like, absolutely. If you lose, then people probably feel a little bit differently about making it in the first place. But there's that chance, and it's what people love about March Madness is you get to make a run. Like, you have the opportunity to beat a TCU team that you can beat, and then you get the number 1 seed where there's not really a lot on the line for you because they're supposed to win the basketball game. So I'm there, but I struggled with this idea of I've seen this program when they've been at their best and when you know that they're just going to make a run in March. And it feels like we're kind of at that point where super excited to be back. And certainly the end of the year felt very differently than what we felt at the middle of the year. I was one of those guys where I was ready to check out. This is a program that's broken my heart far too many times in recent years. I was just ready to turn them off and not even watch how the end of the year went. Then you get a win against Wisconsin, then Purdue happens, and you make a little run in the conference tournament. I think you got to do something with that. Like, I think you really do. And it's going to be tough with the region that you're in and the draw that you have. Like, I don't know how much you can do, but it feels like after watching them play so well down the stretch, you'd like to see them stay for a little while in the tournament.
And what you mean by that is get a chance to play Duke.
That's it.
Like this bracket for them is really good and really bad.
Mm-hmm.
It's really good and that it takes all the pressure off.
Yes.
All the pressure off. There's not anyone. There are people that will pick Ohio State. If Ohio State beats TCU, there will be people to say with Bruce, with Junie on a hot night, if Duke doesn't get back one of their players.
Right.
I know Thost, he's probably out for a while till the Final Four if they make it. Gongba might come back. I just feel like that's house money. That is the definition of house money. If you're playing the overall number 1 seed, and a lot of people had you left for dead a couple weeks ago, then that is the true definition of house money. The bad news is that in a way, your reality is kind of set for you. Now, not for the players. Players don't have to think the way I'm thinking, but that this could be a very short-lived thing, that it could be over by this weekend. The one thing you said I agree with is that if you're going to live up to what he was just saying, then go into a 50-50 game and win it. Mm-hmm. Show that Bruce getting the record of all-time leading scorer isn't just a footnote of the season. That was meaningless. That was it. Right. That's all it was about. I do think that getting in and doing something are two different things for sure. Because I know the argument, which is if you get in and you lose, what did it really do for you? I think there is momentum. I think Jake needed to prove to a lot of people that he could coach them back up, because you talked about where you checked out. Most people checked out after the Iowa game. Mm-hmm. It wasn't at Michigan State because they had to do that shorthanded. And then in Iowa, people forgot that they didn't have Tilly in that game. And they got it to such a big lead and then blew it. And everyone looked at coaching, that's the issue. Yep. How could you be up 14-2 and then get blown away 35-9 in a run like that? Where's the coaching? And so I think that's when people checked out. On Wednesday night, February 25th, people said, I'm done. And then they had a couple days to get ready for Purdue coming in here. And when they beat Purdue and they beat Indiana in a bubble game pretty handily, and they go to the tournament and beat Iowa, a team that just trashed them, and then they took Michigan to the wire, another 1 seed, that they're back to the conversation of that I don't know if you're going to love playing them now because they're not feeling that pressure anymore.
And confidence is a hell of a drug too, right? Like that was one of the things when you watch a team and they're competitive in their games and then they just go out and they end up losing close games, right? Which is what Ohio State basketball did in a lot of situations this year. You asked the question about like, how do you get the confidence on track so they feel like they can close? How do you get the confidence on track so they feel like they can win these games? I think they found that part of it too, and that's what makes it really dangerous is the pressure isn't there because of where you're seated and what the story of the season really was. But you also feel a lot more confident now that you can go toe-to-toe with some of these teams that maybe people saw as the best in the country. You feel like you're playing that way right now. You never know, and that's the beautiful thing about March.
Honestly, I don't think if Diebler was being honest, he wouldn't like this bracket, right? He'd like to have played his way off that game,
no doubt.
Not face a 1 in the second round. He's not focused on the second round right now. But I also feel like this sets up for exactly the way they probably need it, which is a house money game if they win their first. We'll examine the opponent when we come back. And then also, is it finally his time? We'll tell you who that is next. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
Winners of the prestigious Platinum Microphone Award every year, given to the best radio station in the world. No need to look it up. It's real. The Fan.
Forget the pot of gold. Save some green at all 4 Coghlan Kia locations. Get 0% plus no payments for 90 days on select new Kia Sorrentos, Sportages, and Tellurides. Or buy a new 2026 Kia K4 for $279 a month. Visit CoghlanKia.com.
Coghlan has the car for you.
0% APR available for 48 months on select in-stock units. 90-day deferred payments. Buy for $279 per month for 84 months at 5.99% APR with approved credit through Kia Finance. See dealer for details. Ends 3/31/26.
What's bigger than a three-pointer in a clutch play? Saving thousands on a new Lindsay Honda now.
Slam dunk a deal with 0% financing for 72 months on 2025 Honda Pilot and Ridgeline. If you're serious about saving big, now's the time. Want better MPG? Drive a new 2026 Civic Sport, just $199 a month. March is on during the Honda Spring Event. Time to score big.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference.
Visit lindsayhonda.com for details.
We're hiring at Don's Garage Doors. No experience? No problem. We provide full training, a brand new van, top-of-the-line tools, a gas card, and steady jobs with weekly pay. This isn't just a job. It's a career with real growth, great pay, and job security. Our team members go from training to 6 figures, and we're ready to help you do the same. Don't wait. Apply now at donsgaragedoors.com.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows Direct.
Right now, buy 2 windows, get 2 free in 24 months with no payments or interest, plus $500 off. Restrictions apply. Call 614-502-5220. Like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
Hey there, friends. High Bank isn't just award-winning whiskey. They also make the best vodka in America. With 3 Central Ohio locations serving scratch-made food and craft cocktails, High Bank is perfect for date night, game day, or drinks with friends. Learn more at highbankco.com. Dine, drink, distill at High Bank.
Wounded Warrior Project helps post-9/11 veterans and their families realize what's possible. With support and resources that bring warriors together and empower them to become stronger, both inside and out.
It's possible to begin healing.
To get the help you need.
To find peace.
And as each warrior's needs evolve, so do we. Because these last 20 years are just the beginning. Learn more at woundedwarriorproject.org/possible.
Day 1, the hardest day. The day you hear,
this is a type of blood cancer.
At the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, we are here to help you move past day 1. To learn more and get help on any day, visit LLS.org or call 1-800-955-4572.
Hey, it's Common Man.
And T-Bone.
And Timmy.
And Tyvis. Pizza Madness is here.
Oh, Pizza Madness, baby.
PizzaMadness.pizza on the interwebs. Vote now. It's brought to you by Billiards Plus.
Go vote, you stupid idiots.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy real estate as is fast for cash. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. I buy vacant properties, inherited homes, divorce situations, death in the family, apartment buildings, commercial properties. I even buy my tenants won't pay me the rent houses. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
2 hours ago, Kyle arrived at the bar.
Hey, what's everyone drinking?
30 minutes ago, Kyle got his friends another round of drinks.
Cheers!
5 minutes ago, Kyle decided to drive home drunk. A minute ago, a law enforcement officer pulled up behind Kyle.
Sir, have you been drinking tonight?
A chain of events that began 2 hours ago is about to change Kyle's whole world. Drive sober or get pulled over. Paid for by NHTSA.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
We will see chances of snow showers throughout the day. Otherwise, mainly cloudy and cold with temperatures continuing to drop into the 30s by the time you're heading home from work with gusty winds. We'll see those stronger winds continue as we go into tonight and maybe a few snow showers lingering. Otherwise, mostly cloudy and cold with our lows in the 20s. For the Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfalo with the 10 Weather Impact Forecast.
Just when you thought afternoons couldn't get any dumber.
You fellas been doing a bit of boozing, have you?
Common Man and Timmy.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
Your home for dumb. The Fan. These two have a ton in common. Anthony loves hockey, and Matty's always cold. This is Rothman and Ice.
All right, Joshua Perry in for the Iceman. The reveal happens last night, 6 o'clock. Ohio State didn't have to wait long. I think they were the third team mentioned. This was like zero drama. It was good and bad, right? I think I do like some build-up, but, man, it was boom.
I like how they do it. Just get right to it. The college football playoff selection show is the worst because they have like 20 minutes of, I'm tired of hearing Saban at that point in the year, and he's making a stump speech for Alabama who's still paying him. And, like, I got to listen to Herb Street be on his high horse about whatever the thing of the year was. Mm-hmm. And, by the way, this past year, I had somebody who texted me exactly what the bracket was going to be before it was revealed. And if I was one of those dudes, I could have just screenshotted and put it on Twitter. And the reason why they're doing this the way that the NCAA tournament does is because they were tired of getting scooped. Just get us right to it and then have the conversation after. Mm-hmm. That's what I like.
Because each individual university is getting probably their information maybe a little earlier. I don't know. Who knows? I don't know how. So somebody you're saying that was with the network because of the graphics that were built?
Yes.
They got to build the graphics, so they got to have lead time for that.
I'm not going to put my source out there.
No, I don't want you to do that.
Obviously, somebody who's tied in with the network. They're not with the network, but they punched me in.
Answer this then. How long before 6 o'clock did you know?
No, I'm saying for the CFP show.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you meant somebody.
Okay. They texted me probably like 5 or 6 minutes into the show, and there was still 15 minutes before anybody saw the bracket.
So Reese Davis is lying when he tells us all the time that we're finding out at the same time.
Well,
that
they might. He actually might be.
Yeah, they might be flying blind. Somebody in that building knows.
He says only the graphic design team knows.
Maybe.
I don't think he would just. He 100% just lie.
This is what we now. This is what I don't know if you guys do it. People lie on TV all the time.
Yeah.
Like the TV's just a whole bunch of lying.
Well, they justify it. They don't use the word lying.
Yeah.
They just like kind of building the drama or creating theater of the mind for people.
Putting a show together.
Yeah. Well, there was
Radio people lie all the time. Yeah, I watched that game last night. That lie's told every day.
That is told every day. You're right. Yeah.
Somewhere in America on sports radio, that lie is told.
There was no waiting. They were the third team mentioned. Supposedly they were planning for like 12 to 15 teams. TCU was obviously one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And Ohio State has been tabbed, I think, on Bet365 right away. They were a 3.5-point favorite. I don't know where it is today. I assume it's right there. If you look at Ohio State's schedule this year, they only had a couple of subpar losses. Really. Like, right? Maybe Pitt, Washington. Like, they never really... They had the bad loss at Iowa. You would consider that a bad loss, the way they lost. But honestly... When you look at Ohio State's schedule, they had a couple of subpar losses, and both weren't here at home, and they were both in technically the first half of the season. And I think the reason this sets up so well is not because I'm confident they could beat Duke. I'm not. It's that it takes everything away from, would you rather have them have a great bracket? Sure. But they weren't going to be a high enough seed or a good enough seed to really have one of those where you thought, okay, they could actually do some damage in this tournament.
Right.
This takes away that dream probably, but it also sets up Bruce to get a chance to play an overall number one in his last year, making the tournament. Like, there are just little stories within this that could come true. Now, they got to beat TCU to do it. TCU has played really close games. They played Michigan really close. They beat Florida. I think they won 9 of their last 10. They got a team that have 5 players all, and they average in double figures. They're not a tall team. They're fast. Here's their big stat. They're 15-0 when allowing 65 or fewer points.
Yes.
So
yes.
But they're mirror images. I'll give you where these rank. So Ohio State's points per game this year is 79.8. TCU's is 78.3. Rebounds per game. Ohio State 33.2. TCU 36.2. Assists per game 14.4 to 15.6. Here's the amazing thing. The points allowed. Ohio State allows 72.8 points a game. TCU allows 72.1. Like, this is an 8-9 game. It's a classic matchup. And I feel like Ohio State has a chance to get into a little bit of David Goliath game. Right? As an 8 seed to play a 1 and to beat Duke, the branded program, wouldn't be like, not that another number 1 seed would be any less as far as talent goes, but Duke is...
Yeah, this is Duke basketball.
They're the benchmark.
Yeah.
And so I think this actually sets up for a chance for them to believe they could shock the world. And maybe a lot of people wouldn't even look at it as a shock because Ohio State, when their 5 is rolling and when Junie's hitting and Bruce is getting to his spot and Tilly's playing the way he can, I just don't see that. I see this probably being not a one and done. I see it being a win and then done.
Yeah.
But that's what probably 98% of the brackets are going to show.
No doubt. But they got to get it done, though, against TCU. Like, that's the thing. That you got to give yourself a chance to get to the game against Duke, and then you see what happens from there. But as you mentioned, TCU, like, it's the 15-0 stat when allowing 65 or fewer points. That's the one for me because I feel like they're a team that wants to out-rebound you, and they want to play a little bit more of a physical brand. They want to turn the basketball over and create defensive pressure. Like, Ohio State is going to have to play with that same juice and confidence that they've had. They've done a better job of letting guys get to their spot and having that offensive production, feeling like they're in a rhythm and flow in their sets. And then defensively, I feel like they've turned it up too, which is a huge thing. So that'd be an interesting one. They're certainly evenly matched. I think they just have to win it. To make me selfishly feel better about like all of the way the second half of the year went and how they finished, got to win this first game.
That's the step.
That's it.
The moment I was all for getting the tournament. I understood the argument of if they miss another tournament, would it put so much pressure on the administration to say, it's not happening anymore?
Right.
This isn't happening anymore. Like, because now it's not just about recruiting players, it's making sure they financially compensate them enough to want to come here.
Yes.
And when you were a kid, that wasn't it.
No.
There were options for kids, but now the tiebreaker sometimes is the money more than the program or the coach or your teammates. And so once Ohio State got in, that's the first step to crack the seal on getting back into the big dance. But this could be very short-lived. I love the week of hype. I actually love it.
It's great.
It's a cool thing for Jake. It's a cool thing for the program. It's great for Bruce.
Agree.
And the team had to fight to get in, which I think gives you another layer of skin because you weren't just gifted this. After the Iowa game, it was you're probably not going to make it. And so the fact that they found a way, and I'm not going to give them a, they beat Penn State.
Right.
All right. So
right.
the Indiana, every other game after that, beating Wisconsin at home. Huge. That was a top 25 team, and they handled them big time. And so I just look at them as this is a team that if they are cooking one game, have what it takes to give anybody a run. I'm with Jake on that. Now, the reality of it is that he talked in that soundbite that TLC played about these guys, and we have a lot of guys that can score. But what if all of them aren't? Then what happens?
Yeah.
Because even though Gabe Cupps did hit a 3 against Michigan, you get to the point where now the 12 minutes that Brandon Noel gave you and the 2 rebounds, like 3 bench points aren't going to do it.
I agree.
I like the 8-9 matchup.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun. It's an athletic team they're playing, a team that likes to get up and down. Ohio State's a little bit like that. They can be athletic, and I'm absolutely with you. This becomes a little bit, not a lot, a little bit of a nothing burger if they don't win the game. It cracks the seal on breaking the drought. You broke the drought on getting in the big dance. This is an opportunity now to go up against a heavyweight if you win game 1. And now it's, as long as you don't get your absolute doors blown off, you feel like this team really grinded. Now there's a little momentum in the program.
I just don't want it to feel like breaking the drought and just making it becomes a standard of the program. I think that with Ohio State basketball's history and the resources, the university, and I think everybody in that building understands that. Like getting in and also winning games in the tournament is important. That's my whole, like, you have to win this first one.
So I think what you're saying, and I agree with you, is that getting the taste of this should make people want a lot more.
Should remind
with this
them,
administration, this new AD.
It should remind them of exactly where this program has been in the past.
Yeah. This feeling shouldn't be one of those that just pacifies you.
Yes.
It should be something that motivates you to say, we want this and a lot more.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's not, and I did the equation. To be elite in both is very difficult.
It's hard.
And I'm not asking this team to make a run.
Neither am
You and I are asking them to show up on Thursday and win a basketball game against an evenly matched team.
Yes.
And see if you can do, and they've done that all year. They have not really had an egg lane all year, except for the one at Iowa, which just got turned on its head. And then when they got Tilly back, he was clearly the difference at the Big Ten tournament. All right, we're going to come back in 2 minutes. And this man made a prediction about a year ago, and now we get to see if that journey starts. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. You know, spring cleaning is a thing that happens in the spring. Go figure, it's in the name. But as you're getting rid of some stuff in your house that you no longer need, doesn't work right, or you never should have had in the first place, why don't you add your windows to that list? Yeah, your windows may have bad insulation. That's why they let in the cold air in the winter and the warm air in the summer. Makes your home less energy efficient. It's costing you money every single month. With Window Nation, you get high-quality, energy-efficient products at a great price. All of Window Nation's products are backed by a lifetime warranty, and right now is a great time to upgrade. The more you buy, the more you save in March. Up to 50% off all window styles from Window Nation. Plus, there's great financing options, including $0 down, 0% interest for 60 months, and payments as little as $199 a month. The first step is getting a consultation with Window Nation so they can find the problem areas in your house. I'm going to guess they're near the windows. So schedule that consultation for free today at windownation.com. Once again, that's windownation.com.
When you saw your heating bills this winter, did you think this is out of control? The problem is your house is leaking money, and the only thing higher than your heating bills are your cooling bills. Steve here from USA Insulation. Let us fix your energy bill problem for good. If you aren't foam insulated, you really aren't insulated. For $99 a month, interest-free, we'll foam your home and help cut those energy bills. 529-2440 or usainsulation.net.
USA Insulation. No one plans to get into an accident, but when it happens, we strive in making life easier for you. This is Justin Hinderer. The Hinderer Motor Company Collision Center is ICAR certified and certified by many manufacturers to provide the best quality repair available. All of our repairs come with a lifetime warranty. We have our own 24/7 towing service so you never have to wait. Plus, we offer on-site rental cars for every lifestyle. At Hinderer Motor Company, we love what moves you.
Rothman and Ice is sponsored by your local Pella Window and Door showroom on Gemini Parkway. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Anthony can follow direction very well as long as he first prints out MapQuest. You're listening to Rothman and Ice.
Can't go wrong with a good old MapQuest. All right, Adam King, 10 TV. Boy, he's just been burning the candle at both ends, breaking down brackets, picking winners, sleepers, all that good stuff, analyzing strengths and weaknesses, and he's with us now.
I love bracket season, and I hate bracket season because I'm sitting out there, and so for the first time, actually, I sat down just about 10 minutes ago, and I was like, all right, let me look at this thing and kind of, if I was going to write it out and pick, and I'm like, none of this is right. This all sucks. This is all wrong, and I want to crumple it up and throw it in the trash already.
Why would it be wrong unless you're picking, unless you're just littering it with upsets?
Because I hate just picking chalk.
All 4 number ones made it to the Final Four last year.
Yeah, well, Rothman, is that fun for anybody involved? Is that what we're looking for?
No, I thought you wanted to be right.
You can't win the pool if you pick chalk. Because then,
I think you can.
No, because then you got to be so right on everything else. You got to find the team that makes the Final Four that nobody else is taking.
Yeah, but what if your other 3 go to garbage?
Well, Rothman, it all goes to garbage by week 2, so it's fine. I've never won this thing. I've been in second place in every bracket pool I've ever been in for my entire life. Always a bridesmaid, never the bride.
Second place is first loser.
That's
never
right.
Forget that.
See?
So are you a print off the bracket kind of guy, or do you just plug it in on your little machine over there?
Well, so I had one printed on my desk, and I was kind of doing this, and then I like when I can just pull it up on my phone and boom, 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 and you click the buttons, and magically it says, "Oh, your winner's this," and then confetti flies on the app, and I'm like, "Oh, that's great."
I think you gotta print it, do it, fold it up, and keep it in your pocket so it's on hand like it's in your phone.
I like that.
Yeah,
carry it with me everywhere I go.
The lottery ticket just in the back of your
right
pants.
there.
Are you a trend guy? Do you believe in certain trends? Because I've got one for you.
Okay, hit me with your trend.
So every national champion since 1998 has come from the eastern half of the United States. And I think, and most of the guys last night, whether it was Billis or Seth Davis or Bruce Pearl or Jay Williams, they all love Zona. And why wouldn't you? But would that steer you off what I just told you?
No, that's not a real trend. That's just specifically speaking on where
28 years straight.
Yes, but that's
more, a trend.
That's indicative of where the Pac-12 was as a conference, where the Western civilization was over there in California as a conference.
All right.
But Arizona's a very good football team. Arizona's not going to get to the Final Four and right up on the wall, guys.
But they're not playing football. They're playing basketball.
I said they're not going to get to the Final Four and right up on the board.
I know you said they're a very good football team.
Oh, they're a good football team as well. They are.
Just wanted to make sure we're
I actually very much like their quarterback and wide receiver duo, but that's neither here nor
You've
there.
been up all night analyzing these brackets.
Is that why I'm always losing? I've got the wrong sport?
Essentially, yes.
It could be.
All right, so let me get your thoughts quickly on Ohio State, and then I want to go to your prediction from a year ago that you don't remember.
Oh, I made a prediction.
You did.
Oh, wow. That's
all right.
concerning. I say a lot of
We
things.
save everything on this show. So, Ohio State, Joshua and I are in the camp of that to make this season, to take that step in momentum, you cracked the seal, you ended the drought in the tournament. That's great, and I want to give you credit for that. He fought their way in. They didn't back their way in. They had to play their way in, and they did. So I want to give them credit for that. But if they don't win this game, and it's a 50-50 game, even though they're a slight favorite, then it feels like that the momentum got halted a little bit. Where are you on it?
I think you're right. I think they there are some people that say it's house money right now because they made it to the tournament and that was always the dream and they did that. I think it'd be different if it wasn't TCU. TCU's feels very gettable. This is a team.
Call Ryan Day. Get him on the sideline. He took care of it.
That's right.
TCU in a big game.
100%. I saw him lose to Georgia by 60. I mean, there's no way this team is actually, though, watching this basketball team, they're so up and down. I watched them down like 25 points to Kansas State. I packed it up, wiped my hands on a Saturday, walked away, came back an hour and a half later, and they were winning the game.
Well, you're talking about TCU now.
Yes.
Oh,
I'm saying
wow.
this
You really did a deep dive.
I've watched a lot of TCU games. I watched them against Iowa State when they beat. This is a good team, but then also they can play so bad at times. They're very gettable. So with all that is to say, because of that, it feels like you have to win it because it's not one of those games. I mean, if they were lined up and when you're looking at it, it's, they're a 10 seed and they're playing, I don't know who the best 7 seed in the bracket right now is, but, if they had a matchup where they're kind of the underdog, you wouldn't be upset, but they can win this game.
All right, scale of 1 to 10, how confident do you feel sitting here today?
That they win?
Yeah.
I'd say an 8.
8?
I'm at an 8 that they win this game. I think they are the better team. I think for the first time in a long time, Ohio State has the lightning in a bottle heading to March.
I agree with that.
I can't remember a Buckeye team. They don't have any expectations, and they just kind of feel like, hey, guys, let's go play basketball and see what we can put together.
Just feel trepidatious about, dipping both feet in there.
We ask that you don't use big words like that.
I see Cole perking up back there.
Yeah.
It's a big word alert.
Go to college?
I have some fears.
Language of origin?
I have some fears about going all in right now because they've broken my heart, but I do feel pretty confident for a lot of the reasons that you mentioned. It's a matchup game, and the way that they've played, you have to be confident about that.
What was my prediction?
All right, so here was your prediction from almost a year ago. This is more what you wanted to talk about, which is football.
I'm going to say this at 1:53 on April 18th, and I'm going to find it in 15 years. I think my hot take on Will Howard, I think he finishes his career with a Super Bowl ring.
As a starter?
I think so.
You see how I went to the pivotal question. A lot of guys can, quote, get a ring.
Yeah.
Sure. If they're in the right situation.
You stole my back door on that. I was going to hopefully backdoor that in when he was a backup sometime and, got a ring. And
yeah, but I pressed you on a starter and you said, I think.
I'm still.
So how hot of a take with the I think?
We're now a year removed.
We are.
I would feel exactly the same amount of confidence. I don't think anything has changed to bolster my confidence. I'd sure love to see Aaron Rodgers not come back. That would give me a little leg up on that one. But
this is from the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. From our guy, Ray Fittipaldo. He said, you could be all in on a guy, but not have him be your day one starter. So I think you wouldn't want to put that pressure on him. So you would have a Mason Rudolph or another veteran be like a placeholder, like similar to what you did with Kenny Pickett. You could let him sit in there and learn, and then when he's ready, that might be October, that might be January. But whenever he's ready, you give him the keys. I do not see them handing over the keys to him, having him be a day one starter. I just don't think that's going to happen.
Wait, how can you say that about a guy who's in year 2?
Yeah.
How can you say starting him mid-season is an all-in move?
Is
his second year?
Is that an old article?
No, it's like 21 hours ago.
That's bizarre.
He said there's little chance that Howard will be the Steelers' choice for the coming year.
First of all, I thought the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette ceased operation, so that's the first shocker of that entire thing.
Jeez.
Listen, he had a take.
Whoa.
I don't think this is
That was actually news at one point.
But Will Howard was, what, a 5th-round pick?
6th.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's the take was before the draft. I don't think Adam thought he was going to fall that far.
No, but I guess my point is you could be all in on a guy who's a 6th round pick, but know that it's going to take a year and a half, 2.5 years, whatever it is, to develop him. Like, that's why you drafted him so late. If we were talking about a guy who was because you were all in on the development of him. If we're talking about a guy who is a first-round pick or a second-round pick, and we're talking about, 2 years, whatever, like, I could see where it's like you guys definitely aren't all in. But, like, I could talk myself into this idea of you knew he was super developmental, but if it clicks for him, you're like, this is our guy.
I'm going to give him a shot. I'm open-minded about it. I thought he was really, really, really good at Ohio State. I think that his quarterback play at Ohio State, his 1 year here, kind of got overshadowed by Jeremiah Smith because Jeremiah Smith was the freshman phenom. I thought Will Howard was really dotting some balls. So I thought that he was pretty good, and I'm open to the idea of giving him a shot. It'd probably be like a 1 year shot. If it doesn't go well, I'm not interested in a second year in the full rookie contract development. I'm not that committed to him, but for 1 year,
there's no money in it.
Yeah,
it's a 6-round contract. There's nothing to lose.
I just want to say, and I think this is more indicative of what is wrong with the NFL, is that coaches would rather ride out the stupid Mason Rudolph experiment than give the keys to Will Howard. What could possibly Mason Rudolph present more than Will Howard? The upside it's astronomically different.
Mason has more experience. That would be the reason.
Bad experience is not.
But you don't put the guy out there that you feel like you're in on to get mentally screwed by playing bad and getting hit until you feel like he's ready to handle that. That's the only upside. Mason Rudolph's been hit a ton.
Now, I completely understand if that's your premise.
Sometimes with a helmet.
But
you said it.
Rothman, was it Zimmer and Kellen Mond? You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah, for the Vikes?
Exactly.
Yeah.
We got to assume, because for those of you who don't remember the quote, it was a reporter for the Vikings, a Vikings reporter who asked Mike Zimmer, the head coach, hey, why hasn't Kellen Mond seen more action on the field? Because they had quarterback issues and stuff.
I see him.
And the coach said, because I see him in practice every single day. We got to assume that the coaches have a clue.
They do. That's the whole point, though, because they could easily be like, yeah, this guy's ass, and we're like, he's going to be our backup forever. But if they're like, yeah, we've seen him, we feel like there's something there, I think that's the key. They could have easily just closed the door on it.
First of all, we have heard a lot of good things from people around the Steelers, including none other than Aaron Rodgers about Will Howard. So obviously,
I don't know if I trust him, though.
Okay, well, that's its own discussion that could last an hour, but I can see that. Mike McCarthy said on day one he's excited about Will Howard. You don't say that if you don't mean it. I just have a problem more so in the modern world of the NFL where teams would rather trot out experience that's bad than give someone else an opportunity. We know what Mason, if I was a Steelers fan and you're telling me that we fired Mike Tomlin and we're trying to build this thing back up and I turn on.
He resigned.
He resigned. Yeah. He cordially resigned. We parted ways with Mike Tomlin and I turned the TV on and you trot Mason Rudolph out there? Off. I'm done. I'm gone.
Most coaches come back to who gives us the best chance to win. They're not thinking the big picture like you are or like he is or like I have been with the Steelers, that once you moved on from Tomlin or he moved on from you, either way, this gives you a little bit of luxury now to say, we got a little leash here. We don't have to be the Steelers of old that always have to go over 500, always have to make the playoffs and lose. Like we can now start to look at a rebuild.
I'm going to ask you guys both this. Maybe all three
next.
Of you. I'm going to ask you a question next to all three of these guys. One word answer after the break.
What's the show name?
Yeah, but give me a tease.
Adam, just say the show name.
You're going to ask us a
Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
We're known for three things: games, conversation, and Common Man yelling about things only he cares about. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
There's an old story about cat toys that's been retold for over 20 years because it perfectly explains who we are. This is Dennis Sullivan, president of Care Heating and Cooling. Years ago, a couple who shared their house with 3 cats had another company out to look at their furnace. After working on it, the technician said it was dangerous and had to be replaced. The couple called Care for a second opinion, and my dad Mike went out to help them. When he inspected the furnace, the cause of the problem became obvious. A cat toy had been stuffed into the heat exchanger. With the toy removed, the furnace ran perfectly. Now, how did the toy get there? You can decide for yourself, but here's what mattered then and still matters now. The first company paid commissions to their service techs to sell new furnaces.
At CARE, we pay our technicians to fix furnaces, not sell you a new one. And if a new furnace is needed, our team of replacement specialists will advise you on all options available and help you make your best choice. CARE Heating and Cooling. Call 1-800-COOLING when you need a company you can trust.
Common Man and Bob Capace here for Worthington Jewelers. Bobby, it's bridal sale time.
Our annual spring bridal sale is March 10th through the 21st. Buy one and get one 50% off on all bridal jewelry.
And don't miss the weekend trunk shows featuring the latest styles from the top designers. And Bobby, if custom is the choice, you're the man for that.
Absolutely. Let us make the ring of your dreams.
Check out our custom ring builder at worthingtonjewelers.com, where Columbus gets engaged.
A noisy garage door is a cry for help. Hi, I'm Tommy Mello, owner of Don's Garage Door Service. Most repairs are simple, but if left untreated, they can turn into costly repairs. Your garage door works hard every day, and a little maintenance goes a long way. We fix garage doors fast with quality parts designed to last a lifetime. Over 90,000 five-star reviews don't happen by accident. They happen by putting people first. Fixing your garage doors is what we do. From repairs to upgrades, call Don's Garage Door Service today.
Common Man and Bob Capace here for Worthington Jewelers. Bobby, it's bridal sale time.
Our annual spring bridal sale is March 10th through the 21st. Buy one and get one 50% off on all bridal jewelry.
And don't miss the weekend trunk shows featuring the latest styles from the top designers. And Bobby, if custom is the choice, you're the man for that.
Absolutely. Let us make the ring of your dreams.
Check out our custom ring builder at worthingtonjewelers.com, where Columbus gets engaged.
Hey, Columbus, big news. For a limited time, get Uber One free for a full year so you can save on food and rides. That's a $96 value on us. Just use code Columbus. Get 1 year of $0 delivery fees, 10% off eligible food and grocery orders, and up to 6% Uber One credits on rides. Sign up for this limited time offer today using code Columbus and save big with Uber One. Offer valid through 3/31/26. Savings and $0 delivery fee on eligible orders and rides only. Fees and terms apply. See app for details.
You're staring at a bracket right now, aren't you? Not sure who to pick? Listen to The Fan for all the expert help you need. Disclaimer. If you win your office pool, our dummies are entitled to 20% of all earnings. Thank you, The Fan.
He opens his toolbox before he opens his wallet and believes you can fix anything with 20 minutes and some pride. He's Mr. DIY, and when he needs metal, he goes to metal supermarkets. Artists, hobbyists, machine shops, maintenance professionals, and welders all count on metal supermarkets for over 8,000 metal products, shapes, and grades. If it's metal, they've got it or can get it for you. Cut to any size and ready fast. Visit the family-owned franchise on North Wilson Road or Columbus at metalsupermarkets.com.
Bet365 is paying out before the final buzzer.
Check out Bet365's unrivaled early payout for basketball. When you bet on a team to win and they take a 20-point lead, you get paid no matter the final score. Forget the final buzzer and start counting that cash. Hold up, you get early payout on parlays too.
Download the app and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio. T&Cs apply.
The Fan Poll is sponsored by JT's Pizza and Pub, home of award-winning pizza and 32-ounce Yingling drafts for only $4. Rothman and Ice present Buckeye Bulletin.
Sponsored by Window Nation. Buy 4 windows and get 4 free plus an extra 10% off from windownation.com.
I can't wait to hear this question. The question.
I didn't want to tease it because it's not that good of a question.
I knew that was somewhere in there.
Well, at least we got everybody back before we reveal that. Jeez.
All right, let me give you the spread real fast because I promised that.
While you're looking up the spread, my question is there any other starting quarterback, if we're calling Mason Rudolph that, in the NFL that you would want less to try to win a Super Bowl?
Will Howard?
He's not a starting quarterback. You just ruined my premise of my question.
Oh, it has to be a starter.
Yeah.
A current starter.
Yeah.
I'll tell you who I'm so down and out and done with. And he's not worse.
Don't say it about Rothman with him sitting right there. We understand.
I was going to say J.J. McCarthy last year. I would want way less than Mason Rudolph.
Really?
Brother.
J.J. McCarthy's pretty.
He was buns.
He's awful.
Dude, I got a Geno Smith.
Pack of ass.
I got a Geno Smith thing right now where it's just like,
well, yeah,
he's not the worst quarterback ever, but I am so disinterested.
Like Geno over
they were
Mr.
so
Rudolph.
bad. And he was a turnover machine, too.
Quinn Ewers count? He started.
He won a game.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm just asking.
But I would also take Quinn Ewers because at least there's like some upside there. I know what happens with Mason Rudolph. We lose the game.
Upside there?
We lose the
People
football
watched
game.
Quinn Ewers, and the longer they watched him, the more they were like, "This guy should slip in the draft."
That's true.
I'm with you. We don't have to have the Mason Rudolph conversation. You're not going
1-2.
We're not going to the moon. They're not going to the moon with him. I get
that's
it.
my point.
This is more
That was
about
it.
do you bring Aaron Rodgers back, or do you go with Will Howard?
You
or
go
at least
with Will
give him
Howard,
a shot?
you win a Super Bowl.
I think regardless of where they go at quarterback, they should sever ties with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I think
even Aaron Rodgers got a thing.
Well,
huh?
I just feel like it's drawn out at this point.
Did you not get an invite to his retreat in the woods?
Yeah, that was the darkness. I missed the darkness, but I feel like every year it's this song and dance of him like holding these organizations hostage and like doing weird media. And at a certain point, like, is the juice worth the squeeze with the guy who's that old and not really playing all that well?
True.
I'm with you. I think it's run its course.
Yeah.
I think you could probably. You could win some games with him.
Yeah.
He seemed like at times he had a little bit left.
It's not saying he can't play, but you got to be fully engaged here, man.
Maybe the Aviators make the call.
Wow, I'd watch that.
To who?
To Aaron Rodgers.
Okay.
I'd watch that.
Yeah, you give some butts in seats.
Well, he's not going to Minnesota. I know that. They got their guy.
What's your spread here?
2.5 now.
It's 2.5.
Ohio State favored by 2.5 on Thursday at noon against TCU.
So that's a pick 'em pretty much. I mean,
oh yeah, that's I said. I don't want to put all of the pressure on. I know we talked about this.
Right.
Defining this season is difficult. I think that this season became. Should I put this? They reached the tournament and they ended a drought that this university has had that we hated. To be on the outside looking in at March Madness is awful. It's an awful feeling. And even very good teams get upset in this tournament early. This sport has put everything into March, and it's a crapshoot, and that's why we love it, because it's unpredictable most of the time. And so the fact that Ohio State fought their way in, that Jake had to do this with a roster that seemed like was very hit and miss over the year, whether Royal couldn't play, well, Tilly wasn't available, Noel was gone. It felt like he was just kind of piecemealing this thing together the best he could. The bench wasn't offering much. It still really isn't offering a ton. He's getting more minutes now out of the bench, but
that's Mr. Ohio, Gabe Cupps.
The bench conversation all year long has been one of the most intriguing things to think about, because I had felt, based off of watching this team, that starting five, especially when they're fully healthy, like, give me those guys all day long. They can compete with anybody. Also, it's hard to win games when you're asking guys to play 35, 38 minutes a game. And again, part of this is if you get people intrigued and we start getting maybe a little bit more money diverted over to basketball or whatever they need setup-wise, money or not, could you not get a few better guys, maybe some veteran guys who are just looking for one last shot, to come off the bench? In some of those games from earlier on, you're able to close out a little bit better. Like, it's this whole process to me about the story of the season, to where we knew that this team had a little something. We'd like to see them kind of pay off on it now. But if there were just a couple different things, like, we're talking about a different program right now.
You nailed it. If they had 1/6 man that really carried this team, you would be in a whole different spot. If you had,
I think Noel was going to be that guy to some degree, because he was a year 6 guy. He was a veteran that he's talking about. I'm not saying. I just think he's smart. I think they could play a little faster with him. I think he had a high IQ, and when they lost him, I think they lost a big part of what Joshua just mentioned.
I think that ties into the other thing that they need is if they could go out and just find that center, that guy down low that dictates a game like we haven't seen at Ohio State.
Tilly played great against Iowa.
He did.
Yeah.
Tilly and Tilly does. He's done great things at times this year, but he's not necessarily a guy where if it's a 2-point game, you're saying we got to get the ball down low to Christoph Tilly. We got to move some dudes off their spot.
I've seen one too many box scores with like 3 rebounds that have been like, we need a little bit more in that regard. I agree with that.
I want to ask you, you've seen one too many spam calls as well, right?
Oh my God.
Rothman, you don't believe in the dark web?
You guys mentioned something like Joshua said that he's all over the dark web, and I'm like,
I'm not. I believe it exists. I have nothing to do with the dark web.
I mean, like,
got defensive really quick.
There's a reason.
There's some bad stuff going on there. They're selling all my information to these people, blowing up my phone, trying to scam me.
What is?
How do you know it's a scam?
It's the same voicemail every time.
What does it say?
Hello, we're such and such from the loan department, and we're calling to approve your loan.
Maybe you're
we just need
on something.
more of your information so we can get you an approval for $60,000.
Hey, they're trying to give you $60,000, and you're going to insult them?
Nobody's giving away that kind of money. But why do you need more of my information if you could already approve the loan? Because you're scamming.
I get a phone call at least once every week. Somebody calls me and they say, hey, your address here, and they read me the address, and they say, we'd love to buy that house with cash. And I say, that is amazing. Let's do it. I'll meet you in a parking lot. We'll get the deal done. And, I end up kind of faltering on the deal, but it's my mom's house. And honestly, that doesn't impact me. So if they want to give me the cash, I will gladly take it and move on, Old mom can find a new place to live.
Oh, my gosh.
This is a deal I have to capitalize. This man has called me from a random number. I'm not going to let this walk away.
You like meeting strangers in parking lots?
That's right. Giant Eagle parking lots. Let's meet up and
at night
sell
when
my
it's
mom's.
raining.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sell my mom's house, all right?
The van pulls up, and Adam's like, I got to get the hell out of here.
I got to get out of here.
When are you flying to Greenville?
We are wheels down in the car tomorrow at 10 a.m.
Wow, a little 9-10 hour journey.
Eastbound and down. Yeah.
What do you guys like, rent a minivan or?
Nope, we're smashing in a RAV4.
What's the road snack situation?
It's Sharon going with me, and she sent like road snacks of rice cakes and granola bars. I'm like, what are we doing? This is a road trip. You stop at the gas station, you grab the, you know what? Yeah, I don't often eat, I'm not often a pork tenderloin, whatever those flavored things are. What are they called?
Rinds.
Pork rinds. But if I'm driving 8 hours, all right.
Tenderloins at the gas station.
I'm so hungry I could eat a pork tenderloin from the gas station.
Yeah.
All right, calls from the road, whenever that may be.
Okay, I'll call you tomorrow from the road.
That'd be Adam
Whenever that may
King
be.
of 10 TV. Busting brackets everywhere.
This is just my favorite part of my
Good
week.
to have you, man.
Where's Matty Ice?
He's on vacay.
You don't like seeing me here?
No, I love
I'm curious about where Matty Ice is.
I was saying...
Way to end a couple of segments.
I was saying this could be a permanent thing.
Oh, don't do that.
Now, don't flip it all the way the other way.
All right, goodbye.
Post-free agency mock. It's Buckeye versus Buckeye. We'll get JP's opinion next. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
And I was thinking about you while eating it.
Question from a listener. Do you dopes ever get tired of talking about Ohio State? No. The Buckeye Show.
Weeknights at 6.
The Fan.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Tired of snoring? Dr. Mark Levy can help with a custom mouthpiece that opens your airway and stops the snoring. No mask, no noise. Call 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or visit sleepbettercolumbus.com today. Stop snoring. Sleep better. Live better.
BMI FCU is celebrating their 90th anniversary all year long with monthly sweepstakes. Open a BMI FCU Visa credit card. Enjoy rates lower than the national average and a special rate on balance transfers. Apply today at bmifcu.org/visa.
Hey folks, it's Berm here from 97.1 The Fans, Austin and Berm Show. Last week I was on the road visiting a recruit, and I saw one of my old fast food favorites on the side of the road, and I was hungry for lunch, and I thought to myself, this place used to just call my name. And I thought, hey, why not stop in and have some? I'm on maintenance right now with Awaken 180, and I'm allowed to eat it. So I pulled in, I ordered the usual, I sat there and unwrapped it in the restaurant, and I was so excited. And then halfway through it, I thought, why am I eating this? And it wasn't even in a guilty way. It was more confusion because it didn't taste like I remembered. It didn't hit like it used to. I wasn't craving it anymore, and I really wasn't excited about it. And I just kind of stopped wanting it, and that's when it clicked. Awaken 180 didn't just help me drop 35 pounds. It changed how I look at food. I'm 3 weeks into maintenance, and I haven't put a pound of that 35 back on, and I finally understand what works for me. It's not about I can't. It's about not wanting it the same way anymore. I'm not craving the bad. Awaken180weightloss.com.
What's bigger than a three-pointer in a clutch play? Saving thousands on a new Lindsay Honda now.
Slam dunk a deal with 0% financing for 72 months on 2025 Honda Pilot and Ridgeline. If you're serious about saving big, now's the time. Want better MPG? Drive a new 2026 Civic Sport, just $199 a month. March is on during the Honda Spring Event. Time to score big.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference.
Visit LindsayHonda.com for details.
There are many reasons to hire Morgan & Morgan for your injury case.
Here's reason 17. In today's new world, many law firms have had money injected into their firms by Wall Street, private equity, and other lenders. This money usually comes in at very, very high interest rates. It's one of the reasons you see so many lawyers advertising. I'm John Morgan. This money is expensive and the interest compounds quickly. These law firms can have a huge need for cash just to pay that debt. Why does it matter to you? My fear is your case is settled early and for far less than it's worth, just to service the loan that has mafia-like rates. Our financial strength is your advantage. That plus our reputation makes our firm your firm. Visit forthepeople.com to see our results and verdicts. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
Morgan & Morgan, Ohio office located at 600 Vine Street, Cincinnati. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
I love Right Pack Credit Union because they're solution driven. I feel valued as a member.
They're focused on the latest technology and the personal connections.
Experience benefits that go beyond banking with Right Pack Credit Union. Just ask our actual members.
I definitely recommend Right Pack to all my family and friends as a credit union of choice.
Visit one of our Columbus area Right Pack Credit Union member centers near you. Based on individual members' experiences, results may vary.
Some journeys start small, with small pause and big purpose.
Look how little you are, you sweet girl.
Every great partnership begins with the first step.
Bella, let's go.
Guiding them through the world so one day they can guide someone through life. With shared experience, confidence grows, and the path becomes clear. It takes time, patience, and love. But the reward lasts a lifetime.
Good girl, Bella.
You don't just raise a puppy. You raise a future. Become a Dogs Inc. puppy raiser. Give a dog a purpose. Give someone hope.
Learn more at dogsinc.org.
Hi, I'm Connie Britton. I support Feeding America because they help provide over 6 billion meals to people in need each year. Learn more at feedingamerica.org. Feeding America. 200 food banks strong.
Hey, it's T-Bone again. Listen up. Sleep apnea doesn't have to rule your nights. Dr. Mark Levy's been treating snoring and sleep apnea for over 15 years with proven results. And now he has an office in Marysville. Call 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or go to sleepbettercolumbus.com. Stop snoring, sleep better, live better.
Broadcasting live from the McDaniel GM Superstore Studios. Driving excellence since 1916. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. WBNS HD1 Columbus.
Good afternoon, I'm Tyler Danberg. The NCAA Tournament men's first four starts Tuesday in Dayton, beginning with 16 seeds UMBC and Howard at 6:40, then 11 seeds Texas State and NC State at 9:15. Then on Wednesday, 16 seeds Prairie View A&M and Lehigh clash at 6:40, followed by 11 seeds SMU and Miami, Ohio at 9:15. Redhawks one of four Ohio teams in the big dance, joining Akron, Wright State, and Ohio State. The 8-seed Buckeyes battle 9-seed TCU at 12:15 on Thursday. In other news, former OSU head coach Thad Matta retired today after 21 seasons at Butler, Xavier, and Ohio State. He led the Buckeyes to 2 Final Fours and 337 wins. Women's college hoops, Ohio State's Jelani Cambridge was named an All-American by the Sporting News. 3-seeded Buckeyes take on 14-seed Howard on Saturday. This update sponsored by Logan AC Heat and Plumbing Services, the home of fast, friendly services. Logan Services, proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Most shows just skim the surface, but Rothman and I feel like the biggest story of the day deserves a closer look. It's time for a deeper dive.
Sponsored by Low T Center. Low T Center, reinventing men's health care.
All right, by now you know the Buckeyes are in the dance. They'll play Thursday, 12:15, roughly that tip, against TCU, a team that beat Florida this year, a team that played Michigan tough, just the way Ohio State did. Not tall. I think their tallest player, maybe 6'7", 6'8". They like to run. They like to turn you over. They like to be athletic. But I think we know that Ohio State has a puncher's chance now against most teams. I'm not into the camp yet. Let's see how they play in game one. If they win in advance, let's see how Duke looks. They should be okay as a 27.5-point favorite or wherever they are in their first game. And then it's about the beauty of basketball is if the shots are falling one night. I remember this years ago. Maybe TLC would remember this year when Kansas had Paul Pierce and Rafe LaFrance, and they had two lottery picks. You're a student of the game.
This has been
and
BC, so I'll say 96.
Right. And they got matched up against Rhode Island, and Rhode Island took them down.
Lamar Odom?
And I don't think he was on that team. I think what had happened was that Kansas got caught trying to match threes. They had two lottery picks who should get a touch every single time down the floor. And Rhode Island was playing. You could probably bring up that box score, and they were hitting threes, and I think Kansas tried to match them, and it didn't work out very well, and they got bounced. So the beauty of college basketball is that the way the game flow is, the way things are happening, and with Junie and Bruce, I think you always have a chance. Now, I'd love to get to Friday and be talking about that this team gets a chance to play Duke on Saturday. That's fine, because I think that's an opportunity that you would welcome. It's not something that you loved seeing, because if you have the Junie soundbite, play the one. This is after beating Purdue, which is the one that lit the fuse.
Ohio State going to the in-state tournament now?
Got to, and we're going to make a run, too. Promise that.
We'll make a run, too.
Promise that. He didn't know the bracket at that point, and he also didn't know their seed at that point.
I mean, I think the idea was at that moment, it's like we're going to be one of the last few teams in this thing, right? I don't think they were like, we're going to be sitting there on the 8 line. So their whole mentality is we're going to get in, we're going to make a run. Like, yeah, we're going to have to probably pull off some upsets here. Like this, we know our path is never going to be favorable getting into this thing. And so I think, yeah, they didn't know that they were going to have to play Duke maybe in the second round of the tournament. I think they always felt like if we're going to make a run, we're going to have to beat the best teams anyway. And that's where their mentality's at.
I think so. And they were caught, and they were emotional. That's good. That's what you want. Now it's his job to refocus them. And the task at hand is beating TCU on Thursday and sticking around for a weekend. And then getting your shot against Duke. It took all the pressure off. If they win Thursday, then it's certainly house money. It's the definition of it. If you're playing the overall number 1 seed in the second round, but good. I don't know if Duke's loving that. I don't know. I mean, they may not be afraid of anybody, but this is what we wanted. Wanted Ohio State to crack the seal in the tournament, get in, get that momentum, see what it feels like. You got a second-year head coach who wasn't a head coach before he got here. Like, this is the way you build a little momentum. But this is what the sport does. It focuses everything on March, and you have to play the entire season to get to this point, which they did. They lost a lot of close games. They looked like they were in trouble with their roster, and they rescued it. So here they are. By the way, we'll have J.J. Sullinger on at 2:30. Guy who knows all about the tournament and the ups and downs of it. So we'll have him on at 2:30.
Rothman, let me test your memory.
I don't know.
First,
I don't know.
I mean, I gave you
I haven't even said anything yet. All right, it was 98. Kansas shot 5 for 18 from 3.
Okay, so I was right about that.
Yeah, that Rhode Island team made the Elite 8. Can you tell me the NBA? They technically had 2 NBA players, but one guy literally had 3 minutes in the NBA. But they had another player who I have heard of before on that Rhode Island team, who would have taken them to the Elite 8. Guard. I believe for the Rockets. We've expired the theme music because it wasn't quick enough.
I don't know.
Cuttino Mobley.
That's a memorable name. I did not remember that one. I just remember Kansas getting upset because they got caught up in Rhode Island's game, and they didn't need to do that.
That's tough.
And that's the difference. And that comes down to one and done in this tournament. And when good teams get tested, then they get to find out what they're made of, because a lot of teams that haven't felt that pressure. Duke's a different beast. We all know that. But here we are with Ohio State going into the tournament, and we talked about, would have been better for them to drop to a 10 even so they could play a 7. I don't know. I mean, this is all about getting in, and they did it. And now they get a chance to advance and then hopefully play and fight another day. We've covered enough of these. We've known about these. You've watched them all your life, too, that there's no rhyme or reason why sometimes things work out.
Nope. And it's the whole chaos of everything about it, too. It's a different type of environment. Your mentality toward it is different. The travel, everything that's involved with it. Like, it's why we enjoy it so much, is the chaos that can come from it. But the idea, to your point, is you want to be there. And for Ohio State, you have a matchup going in where you can be like, we can get this first one. And that's a really good spot to be in, knowing that you can win that first one.
I think that's why there was a mindset for Buckeye fan that when they thought they might be like an 11 or a 12 or even worse, that what's the point in getting in?
Right.
Now they played their way into an 8, and we're lamenting that they may have to play Duke.
Okay.
I'm not in that camp.
We'll get there when we get there.
That's right. Got to get there first.
Yes.
I wanted to ask you this question about post-free agency, and we'll get into it here for a couple of minutes, and then we'll continue it. So you watch a lot of these guys, and you know them pretty well. And Sonny and Arvell just destroyed the combine, and you were there. And I want to talk to you about Sonny because this year's combine, 4.46, 43.5-inch vertical. He put on a show like we haven't seen in a long time. He's 6'5", he's almost 250, converted safety. So he's a guy that may be too good to pass up for a defense, either in transition or somebody that might need that specific need. The Bengals are sitting there at 10, and they can always use help there and an off-the-ball linebacker. And I wanted to ask you this. If Caleb Downs is available at 10 and Sonny Styles is there at 10, what's more coveted, the high-floor safety or the high-ceiling linebacker? That's how I'll put them out there.
I think probably more coveted is the high-ceiling linebacker. And I think that's because, and at least for me, you want to build your defense from the front to the back and then inside out. So if you bring in a guy like Sonny Styles, who you know that he's got some ability to rush, but he's an off-ball linebacker who can play inside. He can stop the run, which I think is becoming a much bigger factor for successful teams in the NFL is their ability to run the ball and stop the run. He solves that problem like tomorrow. With Caleb, the thing that you feel like you're missing out on is the versatility in the back end. If you're a team that maybe, you feel like you're a couple pieces away back there and you need a guy who doesn't miss tackles and he's always on assignment and you can move him around a little bit, you're missing that, but also a guy who is just never going to be bad, right? Like he's not going to go into the NFL and become a bad player. And so that's the back and forth. I think for me, Sonny Styles is the exact type of guy that you want for today's game, where he's got upside in coverage because he's fast as hell and he's big and he can play behind the line of scrimmage, on the other side of the line of scrimmage. But he's also like a linebacker. And for teams that value being able to stop big physical run games, which are coming back in the NFL, he's your guy.
Yeah. Safeties don't get drafted that high usually anyway.
So I have an issue with positional value in the NFL, and maybe that's a conversation for later on. But in particular, when it comes to the NFL draft, I actually think it's the most asinine thing in the world.
Because if you're technically the best defender in the draft, and I know you said it right, getting after the quarterback is the most important thing in this day and age.
Let me pull this up. So if you're a safety, right, like a typical free safety, kind of second contract guy, $10 million a year, you're paying your guy who you're going to draft at 10 potentially less than that on average on a rookie deal. So why does it matter? He's still a bargain. If he's one of the best safeties in the league immediately, he's still a bargain compared to what you would have to pay him on a second deal. I feel the same way about running backs. If you got a top 10 running back that you feel like you're getting ready to draft and you take him as a top 10 pick, average per year salary on that first deal is going to be $7-8 million maybe. You're paying a running back $12 a year if he's one of the top 8 to 10 running backs in the NFL anyway. It's a bargain regardless. It doesn't make sense to me from a numbers standpoint.
I'd have to think about the running back conversation because it's so depending on your offensive line. Like it's ultra dependent on the skill set doesn't match necessarily how successful you can be based on how your team is set up. I'm not saying I wouldn't want to have Derrick Henry. I'm just saying that.
I'll put it like this: is Zeke's first contract was by far and away a better deal than his second one was.
Yes.
Yes.
I absolutely agree with that.
So if you feel like if Jeremiah Love is going to be Ezekiel Elliott coming in, That's where the value actually is.
We'll continue this when we come back. And is this the biggest signing of the last 5 years? One former GM says it is. We'll tell you that next. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
Unlike your deadbeat uncle, we'll never leave you stranded in a ditch when you were 6. This promo may have been a touch too specific. The Fan.
Forget the pot of gold. Save some green at Coughlin Chevrolet. Lease a new 26 Chevy Trax, $169 a month. New 26 Equinox, lease for $229 a month. Or lease a new 26 Silverado, $359 a month. Visit CoughlinChevrolet.com. Together, let's drive. Coughlin has the car for you.
39-month leases. Silverado 36-month lease. $39.99 due at signing plus tax, title, and license. 10,000 miles per year. 25 cents per mile over. See dealer for details. Ends 3/31/26.
Get Eco.
ECO.
Aaron?
Yeah, Jerry?
Something is wrong.
Something's wrong?
Yeah, it's definitely something.
Get Eco.
ECO.
Thumping and bumping and jumping.
What is?
But it's not pumping.
Get Eco.
ECO. Jerry?
Yeah, Aaron.
Are we talking about your sump pump?
Yeah. Isn't it great?
Isn't what great?
I like the sound of it. Sump pump. Sump pump, sump pump, sump pump.
Get Eco.
ECO. Jerry, can you keep a secret?
Aaron, I'm as silent as a bank vault in Switzerland.
I kind of like to say it too.
Hey, I should invent a sump pump that lets you know when it's working.
How would it do that?
It would say, sump pump, sump pump, sump pump.
That's a great idea, Jerry, but a sump pump should be exactly like you.
How so?
As silent as a bank vault in Switzerland.
Get Eco.
ECO. Eco plumbers, electricians, and HVAC technicians.
Get Eco.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. If your garage floor has stains, cracks, or even the dreaded bad epoxy job, maybe one you tried to do yourself, maybe one you paid for and it didn't work out, it can make your entire garage look bad. Let's be honest about it. And maybe those botched garage floor coatings that you've had in the past have put you off of ever getting it fixed. Well, my friends, let me tell you, the people at Comer & Cross Concrete Floor Coatings want you to know there is a fix out there. They can make your garage floor gleaming, glistening, look like a new car showroom. You call Comer & Cross at 1-800-NEW-FLOOR, and they will come out with their pros, no subcontractors, and install a gleaming new Comer & Cross garage floor in just 1 day. Yeah, this floor is guaranteed to never chip, crack, or even show tire lift like epoxy or paint can. Never going to have that problem with Comer & Cross. Call them today, 1-800-NEW-FLOOR. It's that easy. 1-800-NEW-FLOOR, or you go to comercross.com. That's COMER cross.com. Get a new garage floor with Comer & Cross Concrete Floor Coatings today.
It's never a bad time to fire up the grill. At Billiards Plus, the grilling season never ends. While you're grill shopping, you'll love browsing Central Ohio's largest selection of pool tables, game furniture, and shuffleboard. Family owned and operated. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
When we designed our Columbus Blue Jacket ticket plans, we designed them for fans like you. For fans who want to choose their games and their seats, and fans who need flexibility when their plans change. Columbus Blue Jacket season ticket plans. Get your tickets now at bluejackets.com. Can't follow the Buckeyes to the tournament? Adam and Nicole hit the road for all the action.
Sponsored by Logan Services, proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Keep it locked on 10 TV, 10 TV Plus, and your home of the Buckeyes, The Fan.
Around here, sunrise only means one thing. It's time to get to work. Whether you're hauling, herding, baling, or raking, Kubota tractors and hay tools are built to make hay any day, including while the sun shines. Learn more about how Kubota is built to get the job done right at KubotaUSA.com. Go to KubotaUSA.com/disclaimers for full disclaimers.
2 hours ago, Kyle arrived at the bar.
Hey, what's everyone drinking?
30 minutes ago, Kyle got his friends another round of drinks.
Cheers!
5 minutes ago, Kyle decided to drive home drunk. A minute ago, a law enforcement officer pulled up behind Kyle.
Sir, have you been drinking tonight?
A chain of events that began 2 hours ago is about to change Kyle's whole world. Drive sober or get pulled over. Paid for by NHTSA.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
We will see chances of snow showers throughout the day. Otherwise, mainly cloudy and cold with temperatures continuing to drop into the 30s by the time you're heading home from work with gusty winds. We'll see those stronger winds continue as we go into tonight and maybe a few snow showers lingering. Otherwise, mostly cloudy and cold with our lows in the 20s. For the Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfalo with the 10 Weather Impact Forecast.
No hot takes, no dancing, plenty of stupid. Bishop and Friends.
Weekdays from 9 to noon.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Rothman and Ice present Pre-Snap Reads.
Sponsored by Dr. Mark Levy. If you're snoring and not sleeping, call Dr. Mark Levy today at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP.
JJ Sullinger will be on at 2:30. He'll share a story of his time with Thad Matta, who's retiring. And I don't know if he would have made it if he was playing in this era. I just don't know. I think it just would have been maybe too much for him to overcome. But he certainly did at that time, back in the early 2000s, mid-2000s. So we'll get his take on that. Real quickly, your running back. I just did this during the break. 3 of the top 4 running backs in the NFL last year did not make the playoffs.
Right. I'm there with you on the production versus how much does it affect the team, all the different things. Just from the idea of I can't draft this guy in the top 10 of the NFL draft because we don't find value. If he's one of the best running backs, one of the best players, you take
Jeremiah
him.
Love this year.
Yes, and he's going to be a bargain compared to what you would have to pay a replacement level guy that you think is that good as a veteran free agent. That's my whole shtick about positional value in terms of the draft. All these guys are as cheap as you're going to find them in the first place. Like, you should throw that out of the equation when it comes to the draft. Free agency, a little bit of a different conversation. Draft, they're as cheap as you're going to find them.
I'm okay with that if I feel the impact will be there. Like, that's all I'm saying is that Derrick Henry, Jonathan Taylor, Bijan Robinson, Devon Achane, Jahmyr Gibbs, Javonte Williams, none of these guys made the playoffs this year. And they were all had incredible years. It's where this game is. And I'm not saying if you get a good one like Derrick Henry, he can't win you a single game. He can.
Right.
And James Cook certainly was a big deal for the Bills because he could catch the football too. But this is the way this game has been going. Barkley didn't follow up. He had a good year. He didn't follow up his other year. They're so prone to injury. And it's not their fault.
I feel like
they get hit on every play awkwardly. And
an even better argument for draft them and draft them high because they're as fresh as they're ever going to be too.
Yes, but it's their risk even if they're fresh on one play, one down.
I'm with you, but the risk is maybe $5 million a year on average versus 12, you know?
The risk that the Vikings did not take is signing Kyler Murray for a little over $1 million. And while he is a little fella, he is a lot probably more talented than what they have. And so his arrival is going to put J.J. McCarthy in the pressure cooker of trying to live up to his draft pick. Here's Mike Tannenbaum on Get Up about it.
This may be the most consequential transaction in the last 5 years in the NFL to get a starting quarterback at 29 years old for 1.3.
Last 5 years.
In the last 5 years, when you think about the cap at $300 million and to pay a starting quarterback, presumably at 29 years old, $1.3 million, that's incredible value. And when you think about this, team won 9 games last year with really below average play between Max Brosmer, J.J. McCarthy. Look at this graphic and some Carson Wentz. It's amazing how impactful this move could be. If they win 2 more games, they're sitting at 11. They should win the division, and your quarterback is making the league minimum. Again, context is everything. Starting quarterbacks are making upwards of $60 million. And look, I'm not saying he should be at the top of the market, but this is incredible value with a lot of high impact. And if it doesn't work out, there's very little downside.
All right, so 2 things there. He's correct on the value. The value is certainly there at that price. Now, they won't be able to tag him. If he plays great, they won't be able to tag him. They have to pay him. Here's the downside. if there is a little bit of a downside. He didn't mention it. I'll mention it. The downside is if he plays okay, not great, and you don't want to pay him $50 million next year.
Yeah.
And you've now set J.J. McCarthy back another year.
Right.
You've replaced J.J. with this guy. If he doesn't hit, I'm with Tannenbaum on that. The downside, as far as your financial investment wasn't there, and you took a chance, and you got a team that could win and get in the playoffs. The downside is he plays average. They don't do much, and you've now stunted another year of development of J.J. McCarthy if you believe there's still something there. That's the downside of it, if there is one. Yeah. I would take the risk they took, though.
I would take the risk. I understand that downside. I think, to your point, part of this is, does J.J. McCarthy become a better football player in this time that Kyler Murray is around? And if he does, you feel much better about it if Kyler is just average. The other thing that you're kind of looking at is, okay, if he's just average and we think the other teams in our division are going to be all right, like maybe we don't end up winning a ton of games. And in what's supposed to be, which I know how that thing gets because last year we were getting a little bit crazy, what's supposed to be a deep quarterback draft for next year, do you have your answer there? Do you just go ahead and draft another one and start from scratch again?
Yeah, well, you wouldn't be drafting very high if Kyler Murray helped you win 10 games.
I mean, I'm saying, like, if he's okay, but you don't even get there because everything around you, your path just, like, he didn't play bad, but he wasn't the reason that you won a bunch of games, if that makes sense.
This is the same argument we have about the Steelers. The Vikings were not willing to take the chance right now. Winning is everything. Selling tickets is everything.
Sure.
You're in the competition business. The coaches, the players, everybody wants to win. The fans can sit here and say, like I can say to the Pittsburgh fan behind the glass there, hey, don't worry about it. Sign up to be a bad team this year. It'll be okay. No one wants to just fast forward a year of their life away. And Browns fan may be the only one that's
what I was getting
to
ready to say.
They
I know a lot of people around here who have been very willing to sign up for that.
They may be the only one that's willing after all, because eventually you get pushed down so far that you can't go anywhere, and you're like, what's another one? Pittsburgh's the last team that's used to that. The Vikings somehow piecemealed that season together with Carson Wentz and Max Brosmer and a little bit of McCarthy. And so if Kyler Murray, they can develop something around him, move him around, be a tough team to defend with him. If he doesn't have to play hero ball because he's got JJ now and he's got some weapons, he's going to play indoors. That's going to help. They're in a tough division. They couldn't just go back to, well, if JJ's healthy, he's our guy. Like,
the McCarthy development is going to be something to watch here, too, because I feel like he is a very different player structurally than Kyler Murray is. I think what the offense demands that you have to do with Kyler Murray, and some of the things that have made him really good are not necessarily things that you would. J.J. McCarthy's a plenty good athlete, but he's not like a runaround, make it happen on the fly, improvised guy. Like Michigan pro style, very structured offense. Kevin O'Connell wanted to get him in a very structured offense. And you're bringing in a guy who's going to be competing against and maybe developing under. That is absolutely not that guy. That's an interesting thing to me.
Yeah. Oh, it's absolutely the most interesting. You got a playground guy against a guy that needs structure, that loves it. And that's why, by the way, that's why they drafted him. Now, the GM that drafted him is gone.
He's gone.
So that may have also opened up room for them to make a move here.
I never saw it back when JJ was a prospect anyway, so who knows?
You know, he was more of a system guy.
Yeah.
It was a high pick to grab a system guy.
There's just so much around him. There's a great defense. They had an elite run game. He wasn't asked to make a lot of difficult throws. Everything was off of play action. Pocket was always clean. Like, he wasn't asked to throw a lot of passes either. Like, it just felt like there was a lot to his game that I had questions about.
And he played in a era at Michigan where they may have known the cards that were coming at the blackjack table, which helped. I will say this, though. The best throw that I ever saw him make, he threaded a needle to Roman Wilson against Ohio State. I don't know if you remember that play. It was like he is. And then on Monday night, when he started with the Vikes and he goes to Chicago on a Monday night to open his debut, and he has a fourth quarter like No one's seen it.
What happened in the first 3 quarters of that?
I know. Well, it was his first game.
I know,
So-
but I mean, it was like the biggest disaster of 3 quarters you could have before. He became a hero for cleaning up his own mess in that game, and that pissed me off. I'm going to be honest.
The throw that I remember was at Michigan, and he threaded a needle.
I remember that play.
It was about a 22-yarder, and it made me think, like, he may not have the strongest arm, but he has some accuracy, and I thought that would get it done. Clearly it hasn't. I think the injuries have affected his confidence, too, and he's a guy that's been getting wrecked behind that line as well.
Yeah,
All right,
he has.
We're going to come back with J.J. Sullinger and what he expects from this Buckeye basketball team now that they're in the dance. Rothman and Ice in the Fan.
Fall is a season of change, and Hinderer Motor Company is turning over a new leaf with big savings. This is Justin Hinderer. Right now, any one of our participating locations is paying up to $3,500 over Kelley Blue Book value. That's right. Drive in your current vehicle and leaf with one of ours today. Don't wait. The leaves are falling and so are the prices. At Hinderer Motor Company, we love what moves you.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Spring is right around the corner, and we bet you're excited for warmer weather. But as the temperatures rise, make sure your energy bills don't. Keep those cooling costs low with Window Nation's high-quality, energy-efficient products. Simply request a consultation where their experts will visit your home, spot problem areas, and make recommendations. Your customized windows can be installed in a day. Once completed, your home will be shielded from outside hot air while you remain cool and comfortable inside throughout the spring and summer. With Window Nation, your house won't just look great, but you'll also have peace of mind. All of Window Nation's products are backed by a lifetime warranty. In fact, there's no better time to upgrade your home with Window Nation than right now. In March, the more you buy, the more savings you could enjoy. Up to 50% off all window styles. And be sure to ask about Window Nation's generous financing options, including $0 down, 0% interest for 60 months, and payments as little as $199 a month. Visit windownation.com today to schedule your free consultation. Once again, that's windownation.com.
The Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus is the place to be for all the basketball action. Watch every game at once on 2 video walls spanning 50 feet, plus over 30 TVs. Come show off your jump shot in our King of the Court drawings and take home memorabilia from a Cleveland basketball legend. We've also got unbeatable game day food and drinks all season long. Guarantee your spot. Reserve a table with up to $300 in dining credits at HollywoodColumbus.com. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
Rothman and Ice is sponsored by your local Pella Window and Door showroom on Gemini Parkway. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Miss a minute of Rothman and Ice? Check out the podcast.
Type in Rothman and Ice wherever you get your podcasts. Download and subscribe.
Back to Rothman and Ice.
All right, we have arrived. Buckeyes are in the dance. It's what this guy had been a part of in the past, what he was hoping for this season, and when you get in, then you got a chance. And certainly they'll play Thursday at noon. They're favored in the game against TCU. And J.J. Sullinger is back. They fought their way in, my man. They didn't back in, and now they're here. Tell me a little bit about last time we talked. There was a chance this team was going to be on the outside looking in. Now they're in. What have you noticed outside of the fact that their roster is a lot more healthy? What have you noticed in how they're playing?
What's going on, guys? I really think that, more than anything, I think the monkey got off their back, right? I think when we beat Purdue, I think we had a feeling that, we might get in. Then we beat Indiana. Then, we go to the Big Ten tournament and do what we did there. Almost pulled it out against Michigan. So after all of those things, man, along with, guys getting back healthy and, we still got guys that we need to get healthy. But I just think more than anything, the monkey just jumped off their back, man, and they were able to play a lot freer. You know what I mean? I mean, even with Bruce having that record lingering over his head, once he got that out the way, I think he could just play basketball. And I'm not saying he forced anything or anything like that. He really didn't force anything. But just having that over their head and things, I think they were able to play a lot more freer. And I think Jake actually got to coach a lot more freer too.
So tell me what we're supposed to make of Ohio State being in the tournament. Because on one hand, you snapped the drought, which I think is a big deal to a lot of people who understand the history of this program. On the other hand, they've got a very winnable game here in the first round of the tournament. Like, if they're just in, maybe they don't get the win. Like, how do we process all of that right now?
I just think you have to take it one step at a time. You know what I mean? We got in the tournament. We have TCU, and, I think that's just laser focused. From a fan's perspective, obviously, looking ahead and things like that. But in the locker room, man, Joshua, you know this better than anybody, man. You just got to focus on that one task and that one task only. And, let the cards fall, how they may, I guess.
JJ Sullinger with us talking Ohio State basketball. You've been a part of this. You know what it's like. You were on that team that got upset by G-Town, right?
Yeah, I was.
Okay.
Thanks for reminding.
You had your moments too, though. We've talked about those. I guess my point is that you believed also that you launched part of this return of basketball, right? Or that you kept Ohio State's momentum going. What do you believe making the dance does for the program in general? Because you and I talked about this. There was a heavy debate about this. Whether if you get in and don't win, what does it really do for the program? Now that we've arrived at this moment, what do you believe this will do for taking the next step for Jake in this program?
You know what, man? I'm a insane optimist. I am, people call me delusional all the time, and that's fine. I don't care. But I think us making the tournament this year is a lot like us beating Illinois that year that we couldn't go to the NCAA tournament. I think this has revitalized our program. Jake has absolutely brought this back to life. And I just think it's full steam ahead. You know what I mean? But as much as we want to talk about, what's next and things like that, in that locker room, all they care about is Thursday at 12:15. There's nothing else to talk about. There's nothing else that matters. And I'm just excited that these guys get the opportunity, especially, I know you're not supposed to single anyone out, but especially Bruce, man, because, his story is like no other, especially in this climate of, collegiate sports. So for him to be able to do this and go out this way, man, I mean, it's big time. It's not only big time for him, though, but it's big time for the program.
All right, so I want you to take us behind the curtain a little bit. You guys are watching the selection show. You figure out the seating. You see your matchup. You understand that you've got a short window of time to get prepared. Take me through how it all goes down from Selection Sunday up until tip-off.
That's a good question. For us, I remember we got our scouting reports that next day. And what I mean by that next day, I mean they were hand-delivered to us that morning. You know what I mean? They were checking classes. We were getting our scouting reports then. So Jake and his staff already have they had a good idea where they were going to be seated. There's guys on staff that do all those analytics and things like that to figure out where they'll be pairing. So I think they were watching film or had some idea of who they were going to be going up against. Not necessarily exactly who, but like I know they had film ready for these guys. And man, I mean, that started immediately. I'm sure that started like before the tape stopped rolling when they were being videotaped. So, and then practice is going to be practice. Postseason practice is a lot different than preseason and during the regular season. It's going to be a lot of scouting, a lot of going over their stuff, going over their plays, going over their personnel. Eat, breathing, and, everything else, those guys. You know what I mean? You got to know everything about them. So we're going to know their, shoe size. We're going to know it all. So those guys will be prepared.
Former Buckeye J.J. Sullinger with us here on Rothman and Ice. So your old coach got his 500th win, and now he's going to sail off into the sunset. Thad Matta is going to retire. And I know you were sharing a pretty personal story about your time trying to earn Thad's trust and what maybe you brought on yourself, but also stuff you had to overcome. Share that with us and our listeners about that a time with Thad may not have happened, right?
Oh, no, not at all. It wasn't supposed to happen at all. In fact, I shared this a little bit on Twitter, but, when he got the job, Andy Geiger told him if he had any chance at winning, if he wanted to be successful, to get rid of that Sullinger kid. Andy Geiger thought I was a cancer. He didn't think I could play basketball, and he didn't think I was a good locker room guy. He didn't think I was supposed to be on the team. So fast forward to about 2.5, 3 weeks later, I get pulled over for suspected of, driving under the influence. And, I just knew that, any coach that comes into a big program, that's been losing, that hasn't been successful, you just cut bait. And I just knew that I was going to be the guy that he made an example of. Guys, if you don't buy in, this is what's going to happen to you. Well, he did the complete opposite. He told everyone right away he wasn't getting rid of me. Meanwhile, we had a meeting, and he said, I'm not getting rid of you, but this is the 3 things you're going to do. He told me that I was going to first I was going to complete a drug alcohol program, within the city of Columbus, and whether I had a problem or not, I didn't. I don't think I did, but I completed it. Then he said that I was going to write a handwritten note to everyone affiliated with the program. That was over 350 handwritten letters apologizing for my actions, embarrassing the program. And I was also going to run 5 miles a day, Monday through Friday during preseason, without missing any other workouts or obligations that I had. So I had to run them every morning at 5 a.m. And I completed it. And I guess the rest is history. It all worked out. But, when he gave me a chance, or he took a chance for a guy that he necessarily didn't have to. And that's why I'll always ride for Coach. So I'm really happy for him. One hell of a coach, man. I wish things were different the way that, he parted ways with Ohio State. I was very vocal about that. I didn't think that was supposed to happen the way that it did, but I'm just happy for him and his family, man. He deserves it the most.
What's your favorite memory of Coach?
That's a good question, man. There's so many, but I'll tell a funny story, man. He kicked himself out of practice one day. We weren't getting it done. We were dogging it, and he said, "You know what? I'm not kicking you." And he used some words he wasn't supposed to. I'm not kicking you guys out. I'm kicking myself out. And he forgot his keys. He put his keys. He's a creature of habit. So his keys were under a chair where he left his keys every day. Like, that's where his keys were. And he would pick them up. He had a routine after practice. He would get them last and get going. But he broke that routine that day, so he left his keys. And instead of just waiting for us all to leave, man, he had to, the walk of shame to go get his keys, and we all started laughing. He started laughing too, but he was still pissed off, and it's something we still laugh about.
It's an amazing story, man. What a test. He didn't give up on you, but he wanted to make sure that you wanted it more than he did. And that's a heck of a story, man. That's why it's going to stay with you your whole life. It's
really one of the biggest reasons why I'm where I'm at today, man. Me and my family, you know what I mean? We just he really took a chance, and I appreciated it.
Well done, my man. Enjoy Thursday and hopefully beyond. We appreciate your time, bud. We'll talk to you soon.
No problem. Go Bucks.
That's our guy, J.J. Sullinger, man. What a story. By the way, Ohio State being back in the postseason for the first time in 4 years. Tune into the Fan, 10 TV, and 10 TV Plus for coverage all week long as the Buckeyes begin their chase to the championship. Chasing the Championship is sponsored by Logan Services, proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
That's not something a coach could pull off today. You can't impact young people like that right now because they just leave. Nobody's staying around to have to run 5 miles and write 350 handwritten notes, and nobody's doing that anymore. And that's the thing that I lament most about where we're at, but that's what made the great coaches great then too, is they knew that they had the ability to impact players in that way.
And also in the reverse side, the players didn't have the quick option to just pull ripcord. Somebody else will take a chance on me because I'm talented. They had to stick it out.
They had to.
They had to fight through their own adversity. Some they created for themselves, some that was put on them. But that's the difference, and those are the stories that existed back then. We come back with Tell the Truth, Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
Head to 971thefan.com to listen on demand and subscribe to all our podcasts. Wasting time has never been easier. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Forget the pot of gold. Save some green at Coghlan Ford. During Ford Truck Month, take over $13,000 off MSRP, plus no payments until June on select new F-150s. New Bronco Sport or Ranger. Lease for $399 a month for 48 months. Visit CoglinFord.com.
Coghlan has the car for you.
Factory rebates to dealer. 90-day deferred payments. Not all buyers will qualify. Bronco $399 down. Ranger $2,000 down. 7,500 miles per year. 25 cents per mile over. Excludes $250 dock fee. $395 disposition fee at lease. No security deposit. Ends 3/31/26.
Get more from your everyday spending. Open a new Visa Signature from Kemba Financial Credit Union and earn $300 cash back when you spend $3,000 in the first 90 days. That's real money back in your pocket just for using your card on the things you already buy. Don't miss out. Apply at Kemba.org and start earning your $300 cashback bonus. Offer ends 3/31/26. Restrictions apply. Variable rate product. Equal opportunity lender.
When you saw your heating bills this winter, did you think this is out of control? The problem is your house is leaking money, and the only thing higher than your heating bills are your cooling bills. Steve here from USA Insulation. Let us fix your energy bill problem for good. If you aren't foam insulated, you really aren't insulated. For $99 a month, interest-free, we'll foam your home and help cut those energy bills. 529-2440 or USAinsulation.net.
USA Insulation.
With all that can go wrong in your home, it's enough to make you say, oh, brother. With Brothers Roofing and Construction, one call covers it all. Roofing, siding, rotting decks, bad chimneys. We take care of it all. And we do it right the first time.
I love Right Pack Credit Union because they're solution driven.
I feel valued as a member.
They're focused on the latest technology and the personal connections.
Experience benefits that go beyond banking with Right Pack Credit Union. Just ask our actual members.
I definitely recommend Right Pack to all my family and friends as a credit union of choice.
Visit one of our Columbus area Right Pack Credit Union member centers near you. Based on individual members' experiences, results may vary.
Camping World is now open in Sunbury. The celebration starts now, and you're invited. Join us from March 19th to the 22nd for our grand opening block party with special pricing on a huge selection of new and used RVs. Enjoy free food, fun on-site activities, and exciting giveaways. Plus, enter for a chance to win a brand new RV. As part of America's #1 RV network, Camping World brings you more value and more ways to enjoy life on the road. Don't miss the grand opening block party at Camping World in Sunbury. We'll see you there.
It's never a bad time to fire up the grill. At Billiards Plus, the grilling season never ends. While you're grill shopping, you'll love browsing Central Ohio's largest selection of pool tables, game furniture, and shuffleboard. Family owned and operated. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
Join Rothman and Ice every Thursday at 2:30 for Gold Jacket Thursday.
Presented by the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
A new Hall of Famer joins the show every week, but not OJ because he's dead and probably a murderer. The Fan.
At Germain Honda of Dublin, they get it. Nobody grows up dreaming of driving a minivan, but it's hard to argue with unbeatable versatility. Enter the Honda Odyssey, packed with space, comfort, and family-friendly features that make life easier. And if you want efficiency, Germain Honda has you covered with great incentives on hybrid favorites like the CR-V, the Civic, and the Accord. Shop Germain Honda of Dublin on Sawmill Road just south of 270 and at GermainHondaofDublin.com.
Hi, I'm Dr. John Runyon from Runyon Dental Group. Are you missing teeth or do you have uncomfortable dentures? Dental implants can not only transform your smile, they can restore your confidence and allow you to eat those foods you love that you've been missing. When I was in my early 30s, I was in a similar situation needing complex dental work and dental implants. I understand all the emotions that you're feeling because I've been the patient and I know that we can help you. Schedule a free consultation today at RunyonDentalGroup.com. That's RunyonDentalGroup.com.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Cosby Heating and Cooling and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
Tell the Truth with Rothman and Ice.
Sponsored by McDaniel GM Superstore. Driving excellence since 1916. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
All right, TLC, I'll tell you guys a little bit of a truth. I did not watch the reveal right away, because the Players' Championship was going down to the wire at TPC Sawgrass, and it got, I believe, after 6 o'clock, and I'm watching the golf, and I was like, wait a minute, when's the selection show on? And I turned over, and boom, right as I was doing it, Ohio State got revealed. But the golf was going down to the wire, man. It was a putt on 18, a chip on 8, like that was right there. And it was kind of, it didn't sync up the way I thought it was going to.
I was at FOMO Sports Bar up in Powell, and they had both of them on. So for very different reasons, some dudes I was sitting at the bar near, they had a little bit of money on the players.
Yeah.
And then we're all watching what's going to happen with March Madness. So, there we go.
All right, TLC, take us home, my man.
I'll tell the truth. I didn't watch a single second of the selection show because I was out walking. I was at my number one.
I'm cold. I walk.
Yeah, hey, look. I knew today was going to be unwalkable because we are now back to below freezing.
If you're a tough guy, it's always walkable.
No, then I'm not that tough.
All right.
But I was out walking because I needed to get everything done before 8 o'clock. So tell the truth, how much of the World Baseball Classic game did you watch last night?
I watched most of it. And I watched Bednar with the back-to-back strikeouts. And then I was kind of switching back and forth with the Oscars a little bit just to catch, the intermittent of the stuff with the monologue and things like that with Conan O'Brien. And so I didn't come back to see. I saw the highlights of the very low strikeouts that we were the beneficiary of. That in the ninth.
That went both ways, by the way.
Yeah.
It just so happens that the final one went in our favor.
Yeah. It's tough because when you're watching on TV and you see it below the box, you assume it was a ball. I don't know exactly where it crossed the plate, but they were iffy. I think most of the time those would be viewed as low, but you kind of knew he was calling it that way.
Oscars last night?
No, didn't watch a second of anything except for some reruns of George Lopez.
Oh, my gosh. One of my favorites.
Yeah. Yep. On Peacock.
On Peacock.
Yeah.
Know what I'm doing later.
I did watch the selection
shows. By the way.
I did.
You know me.
I had them on. A lot of it was background noise to some degree, but I like documenting each expert's pick, so I have them throughout the entire tournament.
Are you trying to see if they're flip-floppers, or are you trying to see how they do?
I want to see how they do.
Okay.
I want to see the guys that are paid to just watch college hoops all day, all season long, where we are, because this tournament always does that, where those guys should know more than anybody. And so I wrote down Clark's pick, Seth's pick, Bruce's pick, Seth Greenberg, Jay Williams, Jay Billis, Reese. I got them all documented.
That's interesting. I think I would document them just so later on when they're like, well, I told you guys when the brackets came out. And I'll be like, no, you didn't. You actually picked against them. That's what I like to see.
You know what they usually say to that is that we have about 5 minutes to pick our final four when it comes out. But they know going in who they like.
Yes.
They have such an advantage in a leadoff. I will tell you this, that Jay Williams picked every 1 versus 2 to meet in the Elite Eight.
There are some people that think that basketball is at that point where it is NIL has made it so the gap between the 1s and the 2s and the bottom of the bracket is that big.
I also think the way to do that is if you do the 1s and 2s all in the Elite Eight, that you're going to probably get 70% of it right. And if you have a fear of trying to find that one upset that's going to blow up a bracket so you can try to win a pool, I think that's very risky. I think you got a much better chance on focusing on who you think's going to win the tournament to win your pool, if the points align that way in your pool.
Interesting.
Now, if you I've been in pools where they reward you for picking the upset.
Right.
Like if you pick a 12 over a 5, and it will happen, you get 7 additional points in your bracket because you picked the difference between the two.
See, I like that.
Those are better because those motivate you to try to pick more than just the favorites.
One of my favorite mofos in the world.
So Carlos Alcaraz was undefeated in tennis for the entire 2026 calendar year until this past weekend. In the final, I guess it had been the semifinal of Indian Wells, he loses to Daniil Medvedev Tell the truth. Do you think he was distracted that Dua Lipa showed up to one of his matches and he folded under the pressure?
I know a number of people, athletes, entertainers, personalities that would fold under said pressure. I don't think it was that case, but it could have been.
Did your teammates keep track of who was showing up to games?
I had teammates that had to make sure that they had their seats in certain places because they didn't want people running into each other.
Ah.
Yeah.
Listen, 7 Grand Slams and 0-1 with her in existence. It's hard not to maybe lean into that a little bit, but why? Are they an item or something? Or is
Nah, they're just...
Okay. This guy's played in front of so many celebrities at the U.S. Open and whatever. Why would... No, tell the truth. I think he lost to a pretty decent player.
Fair enough.
Excuse me, stewardess. Is there a movie on this flight?
Name it.
Stripes.
Okay.
Well done, though.
Thank you. Haven't seen the movie, just saw the clip because you and Timmy Hall were talking about it one time.
Joshua, you get to come back tomorrow.
I do.
And do 3 hours.
Love it.
So we'll have a full show for you tomorrow. Common Man and Timmy will take you through the afternoon. Did you find out what they have coming up on their show today?
I'm supposed to ask? They'll be talking about Ohio State and their draw in March Madness, probably.
Well done. Good tease. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
Catch T-Bone and Tyvis weekday mornings from 6 to 9. If you're not completely satisfied, we'll